There are many types of assessments that as classroom teachers we give. In the next clip, you'll see an example of a formative assessment done through pictures. And then you will see the teacher using that formative assessment to make some instructional decisions. What I thought we would focus on right now is formative assessment. It's not, I look at it as assessment for learning. The mental model I use for assessment is formative assessment. So you're a chef, right? And you're in this beautiful kitchen and you're making this delicious pot of soup, let's say. When you're tasting the soup to see if it's okay, that's formative assessment. When you serve the soup for others, that's summative assessment, because now someone else is having it, okay? So formative assessment is the information I use along the line to make sure we get to our end goal. There are as many types of formative assessment as there are stars in the sky. There's so many of them. You choose the formative assessment that you want based on the information you're trying to gather and the task. I know formative assessments have lots of different names. They're check for understanding, some people call it exit slips, and they pile everything under that umbrella of exit slips. Exit slips is just one form of formative assessment. A warning to keep in mind when you're using formative assessments at the end of your lessons, at the end of the day, depending on what you teach, don't always use the same one. Your kids get so bored so quickly. And plus, when you do the same thing over and over, they learn how to game it, you know, and we try to be one step ahead of our kids. Sometimes we're successful, sometimes we're not. So one of my favorite forms of formative assessment is to sketch. What I've learned over the years, just putting stuff out there to folks, if you can't sketch it, you don't know it. The only way that you know you really know something is sketching. And if we had time, I could put you through some activities just to prove this to you, but I won't do that today. I'm just going to put you into an activity. First, though, I want to say one more thing about some of the poor formative assessments I've seen out there, or check for understandings or closure activities, and that's thumbs up, thumbs down. I have seen teachers do this. Okay, you know, the lesson ends and it's on the water cycle, let's say. And I would ask my kids, okay, how many of you are comfortable with the parts of the water cycle? Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down or a sideways thumb if you're Mets. What do I see in any classroom I'm in? Are the thumbs up or down? They're all up, because no one wants to be seen as they don't. So what information did I get from that? What data did that give me? Absolutely nothing. So the one that we're going to model today is I'm going to ask you, let's say we just got done with a lesson on the 4 seasons, not the band, but the way that the sun progresses around the way our Earth progresses around the sun. So what I'm going to ask the 2 groups to do is to draw me a sketch. What do you understand about the 4 seasons? And then when we debrief that, we'll figure out how would we use the information we gathered from this formative assessment to then give us our differentiation tomorrow or group our kids for tomorrow's lesson. Rachel, so thanks for coming up. I love all the busyness of this. Tell me about the seasons. What do you know?
Okay, so we have winter, okay? And, well, obviously it snowed, and we have a lovely snowman here. And then here we have spring. The flowers are blooming, and we have plenty of rain coming down. So, yes, that's a very cute picture. And then below we have summertime. So obviously there's plenty of sunshine. It's nice and warm. We're by the beach side, soaking in all that sunshine.
Okay.
So, and then we have fall. So obviously we have a tree and the leaves are falling and it's becoming a little bit chillier. So.
Okay, thanks, Rach. Thanks. So you can see from this, there are some basic concepts this group got. Some things that I think I would go back over is yes, it is possible to rain, there are sun showers, but how frequent are they? So I want to make sure that we understand weather usually is one or the other. I would go over, because I kind of fed Rachel the answer. I really didn't test to see if she understood that precipitation was snow. I just fed that. But one of the things as a teacher I would have to make sure is that the students understand the stages of water as they come out of the clouds. And before Julia even gets into this, because you can see how different this is, when you communicate with your students in visual information, it's like you're lifting up their head and saying, oh, I can see what's going on in there. Because when we use language, language is so ripe for misinterpretation.
So our group discussed the different seasons of the year being based off of the axis of the Earth and how the Earth is tilted in relation to the sun. So, and we wanted to start with winter being the first season, the new year, and then we did go sequentially. So we thought about how to put it visually on here. And of course, in winter, we have the northern hemisphere being the furthest away from the sun, and then here in summer, you can see the tilt of the Earth is kind of
the north is
straight. And so we talked about the axis, how it is sequential, and also the different hemispheres.
So if I went forward with my lesson tomorrow, that's way more geared to the first poster. I'm going to have whatever this group is, they're all ready to get into middle school science. I can't possibly make them sit through something that I was going to do. So now at night, I made my lesson plan on Sunday, and it's Thursday, but I've got to go change what I'm doing tomorrow and make a reach activity for this group, because I want to keep them engaged, and darn am I impressed with what they understand about the seasons.